it's a really weird time to be in wealth management right now. I mean, you've got clients who just don't trust banks anymore.
Yeah, and then you add AI into the mix.
Right, AI is threatening to do the whole job for free.
Exactly. It creates this fascinating pressure cooker for advisors. Like, if an algorithm can allocate assets faster and for 0 rands, what is the human advisor actually for?
Well, it usually comes back to trust, right? But in a digital world, you can't really build that with a quarterly PDF or a cold call.
No, you build it with familiarity. It's the mere exposure effect, which is actually a biological thing. Hearing a voice constantly makes your brain categorize that person as part of your tribe.
Right, you don't get a dopamine hit from reading a bar chart.
Exactly.
So, does every portfolio manager need to be a YouTuber now? Because managing money obviously takes time.
That is the biggest misconception here. The research we're looking at today argues that you don't create content just to have content. You create a relationship engine.
A relationship engine.
Yeah, you record one 60-minute conversation, and that single asset fuels your entire marketing ecosystem.
Oh, so it's really all about leverage.
It's a supply chain. 1 hour becomes your vertical social media clips, your newsletter, a blog post, and the audio for the commute. It turned your expertise into measurable growth without doubling your workload.
Which sounds great in theory, but is there actual proof that this moves the needle on assets under management? Or is it just vanity metrics?
Well, look at Ritholtz Wealth Management. They basically bet the farm on this exact strategy.
What kind of numbers are we talking about?
They launched in 2013 with about 90 million rands in assets. By 2019, they hit 1 billion rands. And by 2026, they reported 7.6 billion rands in client assets.
That is massive organic growth and no call center involved.
No call center at all. Their motto was passive investing, active evangelizing. They attracted clients by being the loudest and most helpful voices in the room.
And their show, Animal Spirits, is a huge part of that. I've listened to it, and it's not some dry lecture about alpha and beta. It really sounds like two friends chatting at a bar.
That is the secret. The hosts admit their mistakes, they talk about pop culture, they decided to just let it all hang out.
Which feels incredibly risky for a money manager, right? You are supposed to be the smartest guy in the room, not the guy admitting you picked a losing stock.
It feels risky, but the effect is brilliant because it humanizes the firm. By the time a prospect walked into their office, they felt like they already knew the advisors.
They weren't coming in to be sold to.
Right. They were validating a relationship they already had. The content effectively did the first 3 meetings for them.
It filters people in and out. Okay, so they nailed the human element. But what about hardcore investors? Do they actually want an hour of finance talk?
The data definitely says yes. Look at the Investors Podcast Network. They started, we study billionaires just to learn about legends like Warren Buffett. And that show surpassed 100 million downloads.
100 million. I mean, that is thousands of kilometers of audio tape.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it proves there is a massive appetite for long-form education. Retail investors are clearly willing to listen to 60 minutes of dense financial talk if it teaches them something.
They want to be taught, not sold.
Exactly.
So what does this mean for the advisor listening to us right now?
It means your goal isn't just to have a show. It's to stop explaining yourself from scratch every time you meet a prospect. Be the most familiar voice in their head, so when volatility hits, you are the default choice.
Here is the friction point, though. Setting up cameras, editing clips, managing distribution, that is a whole second job.
And you shouldn't be doing it. That is the gap that companies like Tim Africa are filling.
They handle the supply chain part.
Right. You provide the expertise and they provide the infrastructure. Studio production, distribution, dashboard analytics, they turn your recording into a business asset.
Because if you are spending all day in Adobe Premiere, you aren't managing portfolios.
Exactly.
So if you are ready to build that infrastructure and turn your expertise into an asset, you need to connect with them. You can find them at tim.africa. That is tim.africa.
Trust is the new currency out there. Go build some.
But here is a final thought for you to chew on before we go. If AI can perfectly mimic an advisor's voice and face by next year, will this familiarity strategy still work? Or will authenticity become even harder to prove? Think about that for a while. We'll catch you next time.
Here we go. Ideas fast, body flow. Catch the vibe, catch the spark. Light it up, ignite the dark. Pitches with a bigger media switches. Podcasters, trends of marketing riches. Plug it in, turn it loud, build your brand, make it proud. Pitch it high, pitch it sweet. Performance game, can't be beat.